Okay, so now we're looking at measures 60 to 68 of the Vivaldi A minor for violin. This is actually a section that I did have to go back and practice without slurs at various tempos just to get the right notes in. For the first about 5 measures, you can practice every single measure, figuring out what your finger pattern is, and then go over that finger pattern on the A or D string a couple times just to make sure you have your fingers in the right spot, and then go back and add in your notes. And you can do it the exact way we do in class: half notes, then quarters, then eighth notes, just to make sure we're getting our fingers in the right spot and in tune. After measure 65, every beat actually does change notes and therefore changes finger patterns, especially when you go back and forth from high 2 to low 2 or regular 3 and high 3. So do practice this whole section 60 to 68 without slurs to make sure you have the right notes in tune with the correct rhythm. Remember, every 16th note is exactly the same, just like when we looked at measure 20. Okay, so this is a practice tempo. Quarter note equals 40, and I'm adding the slurs in. There is no accents or dynamics. This is simply to make sure we have the right notes in rhythm.
1 and 2 and
3 and 4 and
1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4
So something else you do need to recognize, starting at measure 63, there's one beat for a little while. There's one beat that has no slurs. So you have to realize when there are slurs and where there are not slurs. At 65, every other beat is slurred, has those slurs in it. So it should be one beat of 2/16 notes slurred, and then one beat no slurs at all. So pay attention to when the notes are slurred. The other thing you need to watch out for is the correct fingerings. I know it's really easy to use open strings the whole time in this, but you really need to use the top fingering in this section. And the reason for that is to make sure you have the right tone. The first note of every beat, the first of every 4/16 notes, should be a little bit different from the rest of it. It should be on a different string. If you look at all of them, the first of the 4/16 notes is on a different string, unless it's not slurred at all, which is just a scale. But you want to make sure you have a different tone and a different feeling for the beginning of the 16th notes. So do use the top fingering. I don't shift. It does have a suggested third position fingering. I don't use that fingering. I stay in first position the whole way through this. Other than that, yeah, everything needs to be exactly what's written. The fingering that's written in is the fingering you need to use.